your album. I've had a chance to sit down and watch it, and I absolutely loved it. So congratulations.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much. That is glowing praise. Thank you so much. And, that just given me a nice warm feeling inside.
So tell us a little bit about where this journey began for you with this film, because it is an amazing film and you bring together some real wrestling royalty. So how did this film start out for you?
Well, what's really weird about this is I'd love to give you an incredible story about, how we all came from these mystical places all over the globe and we decided we're going to create a piece of art and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is we sat in a cafe and said, hey, should we do a movie? Yeah, why not? Oh, good plan, let's do it. So it's kind of boring in that sense. But yeah, it's basically, we got together, we sat down, we said, hey, everyone else is making a movie, why aren't we? And it's a very good point and very well made. So we decided, okay, let's make one and see what we can get together. And yes, Unchained, by miracle, actually happened. It's good for us in a way.
Yeah, but where did that idea originally come about for a female fight club where these women are forced to fight? Because that is the centerpiece of the film, and it's what makes this film so special. So where did that original idea come from?
Well, I always tell people it's not so much original ideas; it's more the executions. You can go way back into the ancient Greeks and Shakespeare and stuff like that, and realize that every story's been told to a certain degree in a certain way. But what we wanted to do was put our own slant on it. So basically, we knew that there are a lot of movies out there that might deal with underground fight stuff, but we wanted to make something that was really a female story. Something that is much more about a woman's plight in the situation without going to some of the tropes that certain other movies would go to. And we were lucky enough to have Mare as our lead, and with her guidance and her ability to keep the production together, we managed to come up with something that I felt was not just about the fighting, but also about her character story of overcoming adversity. And a lot of it isn't so much the cages we fight in, but the cages we impose upon ourselves.
Definitely. And you mentioned Mare. Mare is an absolute standout in this film. How difficult was it to find a lead, though, that had that great acting style but could also do the action sequences? Because that's a rare mix to try and find in an actress.
It is indeed, and luckily she wasn't just up for it. The fact that she was actually able to surpass what we had originally planned was fantastic. Because I got to be honest, when I was starting to put this together, we had certain plans to do certain things, and I thought, okay, well, we're probably not going to have time to do X, so we'll have to do Y instead. But she was a trooper. She was always one of the first people on set, always working hard. She contributed far more than just being an actress. She contributed as well, as I said, the glue to hold a lot of it together. And I'm so glad that she was the one that was leading the line, because as in the hands of someone lesser, it would have been a complete disaster, unfortunately. But yeah, we were lucky that one of our producers actually knew her and said, hey, you've got to cast this girl. She really knows what she's doing. And luckily, he was absolutely correct. So that was good. And just to make... I just want to plug my producers because, again, everything comes down to the fact that they had faith in me doing this. So a big shout out to Tatiana Rustikova, Ilya Konstantin, and John Bryan, because honestly, without them, there is no movie. We could not have done this. So them trusting me with putting this together was an amazing thing, and I'm forever grateful.
Definitely. So with Mare, of course, coming from a singing, acting, and modelling background, how did you get her to the point where she could do these fight sequences and make them look realistic? Did she have to go and do a lot of training and things like that to get into that role?
Oh, to a certain extent, yes. I mean, again, because she's such a trooper, she went and put it upon herself to get better and to do a lot more training, a lot more physical exercise. It's strange how, when people don't... Everyone assumes they can throw a punch, but there is actually a sort of science of actually throwing a decent punch. And it comes naturally to some, to others they need to work at it. And Meg just constantly worked, and then worked some more. We also we're lucky that our coordinator, Gene Freeman, he actually has worked on The Mandalorian and things like that, and he helped put some of these things together. And she basically went above and beyond being able to not only fight, but to tell a story while fighting. Yeah. And you can probably see there's a lot of wrestling talent in this. I always say to people that it's one thing to just throw a punch, but if I can see it etched in your face about your intention, what you're wanting to do, how you're going to do it, sometimes that's more vicious and more telling than the punch actually connecting.
Yeah. And as a director, how does that change things when you've suddenly got to have choreographed fight sequences and things like that? Because when you're shooting a drama or something and you've got two people sitting at a table, it's kind of fairly easy to film, but does it add an extra element there as for you as director when you've suddenly got choreographed fight sequences that you have to try and capture?
Well, again, it's an interesting thing because I could go off for hours on this, but I don't want to bore everyone listening to this. So the basic thing is, yes, it is a completely different thing. However, a lot of stuff, the way I think, is partially influenced by video games, pro wrestling, watching a lot of Marvel movies and stuff like that. And so, to me, when we actually got to set, we changed certain things to make it fit the environment. Originally, I was going to shoot it much closer, but then what we did was we realized, we've got this lovely artwork on the walls. We can do this more open. And it was also a trust in the actors as well, because when I saw, okay, they look pretty good with this, I can be wider in my shot and not try to hide things as much. And when we're talking about, action sequences like this, again, coming back to video games, I would play a game like Max Payne, for instance. There's the bullet time kind of thing where they would do it. And I knew I'm going to shoot this at a faster frame rate so we can slow it down and speed it up and really manipulate it to really give those kind of effects as if it's... and again, we're trying to do something that certain other movies weren't doing. A lot of other movies, they'll concentrate on a much more blood or gore or something like that. This one, we tried to be a little bit more... what's the best way of describing it? Entertainment value, shall we say. Yeah. It's just simple entertainment. And I really appreciate that Mayor and Mary, Chris and Ronnie, Svetlana, that everybody was able to bring something to it and add something that really gave me something to film. Because let's be honest, if there's nothing in front, it doesn't matter what kind of filming I do. It's not going to work. So it's really a testament to how well they worked.
Yeah, and also having Kira and Rock involved with this as well has meant that this film has got such a lot of interest with people from the wrestling world as well. How difficult was it to get them involved with the project, and how did that first come about as well?
Well, again, me nerding out a little bit, but I've been a pro wrestling fan since I was tiny, and so for me, I've always... a lot of people go, pro wrestling's this, and this, it's fake and whatever. But I tell them, you go and watch movies, you go and watch Star Wars. Believe it or not, Ewan McGregor can't actually just wave his hand and make things fly.
Yep.
It's just the way it is. And so wrestling for me is one of the finest forms of physical theatre out there. They are telling a story live to a crowd, and they have to do it within certain confines of a camera going in a certain way. You need to know how to do this. And I took that very much to heart. I've always taken this very much to heart with everything I do behind the camera. People Taya, the interesting thing, her husband, John Morrison, WWE's John Morrison, I tried to get him in a movie a couple of years ago, but unfortunately we had a problem with the funding and it didn't quite work out. But when I was writing the script for this, I got to be honest, I was thinking of Taya. I watched her in Lucha Underground. I'd seen some Triple A stuff and stuff like that. And I kept thinking, wow, this woman looks badass, and she looks like perfect for this role. And because of that unique look that she has, and the fact that she seriously looks like she could break you if she wanted, it just came together really easily. And Rock Riddle is actually based out here in LA. I've met him many times before. And again, as a wrestler. He came in on the set. He basically took my simple words in the script and he elevated it by creating that moment for, the referee is nobody. And that's all him. That's all him. And he just came up with this, and again, these people elevated everything by being so much better than I could have imagined. They really enhanced everything that I was thinking and then inspired me to do better. So I'm so grateful to Rock Riddle and to Taya Valkyrie, who is Frankie Monet in WWE on the NXT brand, and I wish them both the best. I'm hoping to see Frankie Monet headlining WrestleMania one day.
Definitely. Now, I also wanted to ask, outside of Australia, I also write for a Thai outlet, and Unchained has got such a huge anticipation in Thailand. I don't know if you've ever been to Thailand, but when you go to Thailand, martial arts, wrestling, and MMA are absolutely huge. You walk down the street during the day, and they will actually have the MMA fighters that are fighting in their local competition on the back of trucks driving around promoting the fights that night. That's like how big it is there. Like, you walk down the street and street vendors are selling MMA gloves. They're not selling soccer balls and things like that. Are you aware of how highly anticipated this film has become in countries like Thailand?
I had no idea, but it warms me up to think that that's the case. I'm very big into martial arts myself, and I train Muay Thai kickboxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm going to give a shout out to my gym, Legacy, in Burbank. So for me, yes, it's a very big thing, but I had no idea that people were responding so favorably to the film over there. So maybe I need to plan a visit there.
Definitely. Yeah, anything to do with martial arts or wrestling is just absolutely lapped up in Thailand. It's like a whole nother world. Like, the first time I went there and went into a big department store, the first thing that you notice is that instead of footballers and basketballers selling products, you have MMA fighters selling products, because they've realized just how big the fight scene is there in Asia. It's like a whole nother world, to be honest.
Wow. Well, I'm now going to go looking all this up, because I didn't know. I knew that Thailand had a very rich history in fighting, and a couple of my trainers have actually gone over there to train. But I've never been there myself. So, I thank everyone in Thailand if they're eagerly anticipating this movie, because honestly, for me, as I tell people, this is my silly little movie. I just enjoyed making the movie. I feel like a kid in a candy store that I was allowed to make a movie. And so to hear that people are actually interested in it and actually want to see it makes me feel like, wow, I'm a real Hollywood star. Yay!
Well, I think the best way to finish up the interview is to ask, what would you like to say to those people out there that are so eagerly anticipating the film before they sit down and watch it?
Well, first and foremost, firstly, thank you so much for taking an interest in Unchained. I am humbled and always shocked that people are interested in anything I do. And I'm so grateful for all that kind of support and being able to give them something, and I hope that I will continuously exceed expectations with future projects and constantly build on this. I'm obviously very grateful to you, Dave, for doing this interview. I really, really hope people enjoy this movie. And, if you want to connect with me, I'm on Instagram, Director Raphaello. That's the Greek spelling, Raphaello. So if you want to talk, you want to chat, you want to talk martial arts, I'm here. And that's as I said, I'm still shocked that places in Thailand are actually eagerly anticipating the movie, because sometimes we concentrate on all the bad stuff, and it has been a difficult last year or so. Suddenly to hear that people are inspired by something, or are eagerly anticipating, maybe I can bring a little bit of light to their lives, and we can just get lost in entertainment and forget about all the sorrows in the world.
Definitely. Well, mate, I thank you so much for bringing us such a great film, and we thank you also for taking the time to chat to us today.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much, Dave, for this opportunity.
Not a problem. I'll let you go. Have a great night, and I can't wait to see what the next film is that you work on as well.
Thank you so much, and I'll let you know.
Awesome, mate. All right. Chat later. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.